You're videotaping the show. I am.
It's that time again, butt lovers. So I'm a bit notorious on here for reading YEEHAW romance novels, or as normal people call them, cowboy romance novels, but I was falling into a bit of a funk, and then the comments suggested, hello, where is the gay? I even had some comments tell me that gay cowboy romance novels are even crazier, so of course I leaned into that and picked Gay Cowboy Vampire.
A what?
I looked for the worst of the worst. I took many notes because I don't play around. There is a lot to talk about before we even get into the story, one of which is author's note. All characters in this story are 19 years of age or older. Awesome. I'm glad to know that I'm reading a thing where everyone is legal age barely. After reading that, I started to get very skeptical and looked at the other author's works. Single vampire mated alpha mpreg gay shifter novel. The Omega's unexpected bounty sci-fi alien mpreg romance. The galaxy's worst Omega, reluctant alien impregnation. Reluctant? That should not be a thing. It's so funny, I was gonna say not to kink shame anyone, but absolutely to kink shame this author. What is reluctant alien impregnation? Explain that to me in a way that doesn't make you end up on a government watch list. I'll wait. I'm waiting. I'm gonna have a lot of interesting comments. Jail! And just so we're all on the same page, I know for a fact I'm being baited because right under all of this information is reviews appreciated, underlined, exclamation point. I'm falling into the trap. But a book with this title can't just exist and not be comedically roasted. Come on. Come on. That's what YouTube commentary is all about, baby. We laugh, we cry, and then we Running Man into therapy. It is what it is. Right under the reviews appreciated, we have, if you see any misspellings, let me know. This book was free, but I still feel like I paid too much. No, honestly, I'm kidding. I find that part weirdly endearing, because like, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what. When I'm talking, I just remembered that you did the forced mpreg thing, so actually, no. We are finally about to jump into the story, so last minute call for anybody who wants to keep their sanity in check. No takers? Joy. We're gonna have fun here. Right from the get-go, page 1, we have on-the-nose imagery of the main character getting a Bloody Mary, and the walls are painted red in the bar where he's at. But even he's like,
huh. How appropriate.
And listen, this is par for the course if I'm being honest. In every romance novel, they really lean into the corniness of it all before they get into the porniness of it all. I have read quite a bit of smut in my day, and the sense of humor always points out, like, you know what you came here for.
Came here for? No pun intended. Shit like that, you know?
So anyway, our main character's name is James, and he's actually a vampire hunter. He's at this bar to kill the guy he's with. But before he does that, he can't help but observe him, I guess. So he says, and I think these are his exact words,
if he wasn't a beast, I'd say he was a fine piece of man candy.
But then he goes, not that he'd pick someone like me. Aww. Aren't you supposed to be killing this dude? Like, why are we hearing about your insecurities right now? And this is another hot button topic that I need to address because there's always so much shame in these romance novels. Does not matter the sexuality, there's always so much shame. And I guess it's supposed to appeal to like our own insecurities and our own shame around sex, but like, don't we pick up these books to not be bombarded with that shit? So he's flirting with this vampire guy, and then all of a sudden, I hit the back of my boot against the stool, a long, thin silver knife flipped out under the heel, and I kicked up and hard. Aren't you still in public? I thought they'd get it on and then it happened, or he would bring him back to like a secluded location. But instead he's like,
huh, nice wood. But can it defeat steel?
Oh, holy shit, you have a knife in your boot!
Yeah.
What was the point in arousing me before you did that?
Pizzazz, bitch.
More like stabbed.
How dare you make my joke funnier?
He describes the smell of when this vampire is rotting and dying, and I don't think I've ever been less turned on in my life. But anyway, he says, it might be why I don't eat steak anymore, even though I'm in Texas. Even when I'm not reading Dolores Flores, I can't escape Texas. I'm just gonna read off this next note, and warning, like Tyrone from the Backyardigans says,
this is not funny haha. This is funny weird.
I don't know how I'm gonna bring this up, or if I'm even going to, but it's weird that when this author describes white people, their race is not mentioned, you're just supposed to assume it, but then, when they're not, it's their only distinguishing feature. And she doesn't even describe what they look like. This one-off character, she just keeps calling the Asian man. The bar was already on the floor, but damn. We are doing a limbo straight into hell, aren't we? Moving swiftly along to page 18. I killed a feral in front of his pack, and now I was on my way home. Why did I feel like they got me? Fun fact, ferals are actually the bad guy in Bella Sara, and the main character in Twilight is Bella Swan, and I just feel like there's a conspiracy here somewhere. Get me one of those cork boards with the string all over it. Twilight, Bella Sara, gay erotica crossover when? We've moved on from the bar. He killed it dead. Slay. Hunter, because he hunts them. This is my formal apology. Anyway, he describes where he lives. It's very vampire-proof. Listen to this description. Acres of fragrant garlic grew within the twisted and spiked blood-red hawthorn branches. I want garlic bread. Garlic bread break! When I was little, me and my friend decided which of us would be the vampire and which of us would be a werewolf. And I love garlic, and I'm hairy, so I was the werewolf, obviously. You know what's really off-brand for me? I've never read or watched the Twilight movies. Witness me. Uh-oh, a hot vampire better not sneak up on me and try and kiss me. Because it'll be the last thing they do. Exquisite. Speaking of vampires sneaking through the night and stealing your heart, one of the vampires broke into James's house. We learn a bit more about James as he's confronted with this vampire that broke into his house. His greatest fears are being vocalized, and we learn that his brother was actually killed by a vampire, so he has some motivation. It's like Maria from West Side Story, but if she actually gave a fuck. A boy like that, who killed your brother, forget that vampire. One of your own kind, just screw a human. But even though James is trying to go for a vengeance arc, he definitely picked the wrong profession because he keeps noticing their rippling muscles against their shirts, against the freaking sleeves of the shirt. They keep also saying developing chest. What the fuck does that mean?
His mommy milkers were popping.
But yeah, this entire book only focuses on physique and muscles. They have not mentioned a thing about this vampire dude other than like a really brief mention about his curly hair. But everything else is like, damn, you got a license to carry around those guns, partner? Thomas the vampire. It sounded like I was gonna say Thomas the train.
I will drain you of your blood.
This is a very musical episode. The vampire, whose name is Thomas, confides in James that he needs another vampire killed. James responds with, psh, I don't work with vampires, which sounds kind of problematic. Thomas defends himself, saying, there are good vampires too, dude. Horny human himbo says, why can't you kill him yourself? And Thomas explains that vampires can only kill within their pack. If somebody from another pack takes down somebody from another pack, it's basically a declaration of war. Which, credit where credit is due, I guess. That all makes sense. And there's plot, which surprises me. James learns that the vampire that he's taking down is the one that killed his brother, so he's in. Next, they meet up at a bar to discuss the plans, and this line is casually thrown about. It's strange how things change. In my time, the 60s, 1860s.
A what?
He's more than grandpa. He's great-great-grandpapa.
You're about to screw someone that should have died over 1,000 years ago. Page 48. I knew it was due to superhuman strength, but I always had a thing about muscles. Gee, I couldn't tell. I really wish something interesting happened when they were taking down the big bad vampire guy. But really the only thing that happened is the bad guy caught them for a second, and then Thomas was really hungry and he felt himself losing it. And he bit James, and James is like, oh, they're all the same. But then he was like, wait a second, this is actually sexy, and I'm not dying. So then they escaped, and James said this, I ran plenty, but I'd never run that fast. This isn't even winding me. So to reiterate, after Thomas sucked his blood, what did you think I was gonna say? He got faster. I know what you are. Say it. Out loud. High. What? You're high as fuck. Yeah, so James didn't actually turn into a vampire. He was just on this weird high. And then they do it. Holy shit. So this is strange. James sniffs Thomas, says he's the essence of man, which sounds like it would be a really shitty cologne from Abercrombie. Said he enjoyed it, and then ended the sentiment with,
my pee-pee pushed out in agreement.
I concur. The vampire cowboy does indeed smell like the essence of man. Wait, where are you putting me? Literally the last 30 pages are just them getting jiggy with it. An actual line from this book. Things really are bigger in Texas. Boo! Low-hanging fruit. And I'm not talking about... No, but seriously, I've done so many YEEHAW romance novels, and I've made that joke so many times, thinking it's too cheap for somebody to actually put in the book, but she really had the nerve. I mean, to write a book like this, you have to have the nerve. A line from page 70. We were men, and both knew what we each wanted. This line makes me cackle because I just imagine somebody getting this far into a book called Gay Cowboy Vampires and not knowing, and they were like, we were both men. You're telling me gay cowboy vampires. This is about gay cowboy vampires? On the very next page, page 71, we were both men. There's already another reminder, because now that we're getting into the sexual stuff, the wolf in sheep's clothing is coming out. The female author's like, yes, men loving men, as men loving men do. Be-doo, 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 now that we're men. He looked down and gave an admiring nod at my nether regions. All right. Okay. That was grown right here in America. Like that? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Be-doo, 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 now that we're men. I'm really sorry for reading this.
Every touch was electric and threatened to make me shoot.
And I bet you know what I'm thinking. USA!
Those Texans sure love their guns, but I know they made love with them.
They were running out of words for wiener, so they called it bulbous. Are you gonna make his bulbous sore? Bulbasaur. Don't make me think of Pokemon while they're doing this. Who do you think I am? The very last thing I need to say is that lovemaking scene, if you could even call it that, was ridiculous. Like, prior to them taking down the bad vampire, they had 2 conversations, and James straight up 180'd so quickly. He went from hating vampires to, while they were doing it, he didn't even see it as a casual thing. He was like, yep, this is the man I'm going to end up with forever and ever and ever. Why? Look into his vampire eyes, one look and you're hypnotized. This did not naturally occur. It supernaturally occurred. Since the woman never experienced what she was writing about, it truly felt like an alien from another planet was writing about humans, which also explains why she has so many alien novels. Maybe those are more believable. Dear God, I hope you enjoyed. This took years off my life. Have a good one, butt lovers. Stay safe out there. I didn't say bye. It feels weird without the bye, right? Bye!